In this video, I'm going to show you the steps required to set up your site plan. Your first step is going to be to call out all of your property lines. You're going to do that with a property line tag. You will go in the annotate menu to tag by category, and you're going to select the property line. I've already got mine loaded. Yours most likely is going to say there's nothing loaded. Would you like to load? You'll hit yes. When you are looking for those, you'll go into the annotations folder and then civil, and you'll look for property line tag, and then you'll open that up, and you can just go around and click all of your property lines in order to call those out. They should look the same as we had in AutoCAD. Next thing you need to do is clean up the way your house looks. So if you look at mine, I have the outline of the roof, and then I have a hidden line that shows where the exterior walls follow around. In order to do that, you will need to first put your plan in wireframe, and then you're going to go to detail line, set it to hidden, and then you're just going to trace around the exterior wall of your house. When you're finished with that, you'll put this back to hidden line, and you should just see that hidden line as goes around. You're going to use those hidden lines to do two different things. You're going to give the overall size of your house. So I just went in with an aligned dimension in both directions of the home. If you have an oddly shaped home, you might need to put a couple more dimensions on there. The other thing you're going to do is to locate two corners of your home so that it can be located on the property. You want to locate those from the same datum point. The house that I'm showing here is not parallel to the property line, so I need to have 4 dimensions in order to locate this. So the first step, if I move this away, is actually going to be to draw in a line that you're going to dimension to. That line is going to start from the corner of your home, and you want to draw that until it's perpendicular to the property line. I have that in both of these areas here. I just covered it with my dimension when I was finished, so I'll just kind of move those away. So you can see that I moved the whole thing. I'm going to undo that. And then you're just going to put an aligned dimension on there, so from the property line back to that perpendicular point, and then how far back that is. Then to make that look a little bit nicer when you're done, just take that dimension and kind of drop it right on that detail line. If you hide the detail line, it's going to hide the dimensions, so you will need to keep those on there. So again, you'll need at least 2 points of your property in order to locate that on the plan, and then make sure you have at least 2 dimensions on there to show that, as well as your outline of your home. Your setbacks, if your CAD plan is still in here, you can make that visible and you can trace over those the same way we just did on the house. So you would go to detail line and you're going to select center. In my case, I didn't have the CAD drawing in here, so when I drew it, I knew that I have a 10-foot setback on the side, so I just drew like from point to point, and it created that 10-foot offset line. I did that all around, so I had my 25s in the back, 10s on the side, 35 from the street, and then I just trimmed those up when I was finished. But again, if you have that CAD drawing in there, just go ahead and trace directly on top of those. You will need to add in a little text box on those, so you can just go to text, draw that in, type in that you have your 10-foot setback. Now that looks pretty large right now, so let's stretch that first of all, and you can click on this and change the size. Now my plan is going to fit at 1/8 inch equals a foot. You may want to look at how this is going to fit on your sheet before you do too much here, but you can change the size to that smaller number, and then you can kind of rotate that to line up with the setback, and then just move that into place. Alright, so setbacks, next thing is our elevation or spot elevations. So you have each one of the property corners and intersections between property lines and arcs is going to get a spot elevation. These are pretty easy to place here. I'll delete this one so you can see that. You go to spot elevation, you got to click on the corner, and then you're going to click there 2 more times to place that, and now you have that exact elevation at that corner. Do that for each one of your property corners. Last thing you want to check, if you have cars and stuff here in your driveway, you want to hide that kind of stuff. Plantings will stay, your driveway here stays. If you have a sidewalk, that should be in there. You want to check these elevation callouts. If they say A101, those are the ones that are on our presentation sheet. So I'll show you that. If I turn on my hidden elements, you can see I have an A101. It's view 6 on that one. And if I go to page A101 in my plan set, those are the ones we duplicated in order to place on our presentation sheet. That's not what we want to refer the builder to when we're looking at this plan. So just hide those on top so that you have the ones that are going to be on your A106, A107. You might have them on A108 and A109 if they only fit one per page, but just check that on your site plan. When you have this cleaned up and ready to go, you'll go to A102 there. Now I've already brought that on, and mine happens to fit at 1/8 inch equals a foot. So if yours is a larger piece of property, you're going to want to check that because it will mess with the size of your text and dimensions if you play with that size after it's been placed. So work on that, try to get these printed out, and I will take a look.